To start us off, who are you and can you describe the work that you do?
My name is Jazmine Allen. I am the current school leader at Jalen Rose Leadership Academy in Detroit, Michigan. And I was brought onto the team to restore the school to its original mission and vision while improving academic outcomes for kids in the place that I grew up. This is school year 2, and we've got a lot of accomplishments under our belt from school year 1. So looking to continue the momentum here.
You want to share some of those? Just plug yourself while we're here.
Okay, don't let me start bragging.
Go ahead.
In year 1 of turnarounds, we exceeded the school is chartered by Central Michigan University. We exceeded its metrics for our academic achievement specific to SAT, EBRW. We outperform every school within a 10-mile radius of us except for the magnet schools of choice in the Detroit Public Schools District. I'm really excited about that, and increase the percent of students in dual enrollment, advanced placement courses, CTE courses. Our academic data is the second highest academic data that in the school's history behind only the founding class. So we're in a really good place this year to continue building.
Jasmine, it's a question that you always ask candidates, no matter what.
This is easy. It's easy. It is what percent of students would you say will fail your class? Or what percent of students is it okay, acceptable to you to fail?
And why do you ask that question?
It's a mindset thing to me. I don't want to hire off of a resume. I don't want to hire off of someone's accomplishments. I want to hire a mindset here because our mindset has to be aligned to excellence, and excellence is a mindset. If you're okay with children failing, that level of mediocrity, which you might disguise as reality, suggests that you will not do whatever it takes, that we will not pursue proficiency and achievement by any means necessary. And it's not a mindset I want on my team.
Dang. And is the wrong answer anything above zero?
Yep.
And when someone says 20%, do you end the interview? What do you do? Do you push? Do you end the interview there?
I think it depends on what other flags we've seen in our hiring process. If there are other flags, I do in the interview after that question. I'm not afraid of saying this just isn't the right fit for us, and it probably isn't the right fit for you as well. But I think there have been candidates where I've probed. I've asked, do you have children? Would it be acceptable for your children to be your child or your children to be a part of that percent, whatever the percent is?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, then why is it okay for our students? That sometimes creates a moment of reflection for a candidate. But if somebody has an answer to that question outside of, yeah, you know what? You really just push my thinking, and I think I want to change my answer. If somebody's like, I mean, my kid could fail. My kid could be a part of somebody's 25% or 10% or something, and I would be okay with that. I would then end the interview because it would never be okay for I don't have children of my own, but it would never be okay for my nephew to fail ever, ever. So yeah, and I think failure is a label that we slap on things. He could not do well at something. He could need significantly more help, but to fail and to be okay with failure, to me, I can't coach that mindset.
How do you help candidates get an honest, real understanding of what it's like to work in your organization?
We have a multi-phase interview process, and I want to be honest that I got a lot of pushback for creating a phased process.
Okay.
One, because of the hiring pool in the city of Detroit and the narrative about the hiring pool. I was told some people will just get an offer off of a phone call. If you're going to be this rigorous around a hiring process for a school that isn't doing well, you're not going to have a staff. And I decided to stand on my laurels. The reality is they expressed interest in the role. And this is a high profile school who has a high profile founder. Okay. Jalen is a celebrity in his
Yeah.
own right, but also is huge in the city of Detroit. And so we get a lot of interest from candidates anyway. And so the very first thing that they get from us is like a thank you for applying. And we have standards. Here's a performance task that you have to complete. We've had candidates who say, oh, I'm not going to complete a performance task unless I'm being compensated. And we say, this isn't the place for you because I don't want to take your intellectual property. What I want to do is give you a fair view of what we would expect you to do in this role and say, here's the entire plate. Can you chew it? Can you eat it? How would you process it? Right. And if you're telling me you're not going to do it, you're going to tell me that as an employee here. We also have had folks who've been like, I did my best, but I wasn't clear. We can coach that. Right. And then after the completion of the performance task, which we are very stringent on, it is a 48-hour task to the minute. And so if you're late to the minute, you are not invited to the next round.
Oh.
And then the next round is a conversation with me and or members of my leadership team where we tell folks the truth. I don't want to sell people a dream. I know that folks can look at us on social media and say, oh my God, they do so much for the community. Kids are always having fun. Staff are
Right.
always having fun. They've got a huge following. But the work that we do here is really hard. And so I tell people the truth. I've said there's not a person in this building or a person who's interviewed by me or who has interviewed for this role who has not heard. We are in a turnaround. We are better than we were, but we are not at all where I want us to be. And so we will continue pressing forward, and it will be difficult. It's going to be difficult even when we hit the goals that I have for all of us, because then we'll need to sustain them while pushing ourselves to learn more, grow more, and do more for children. So people hear that. People have heard about the staff culture that we had in the building last year. I
Okay.
tell people that I've turned over staff in certain roles multiple times because staff culture is just as important to me as school culture, and school culture with scholars is just as important to me as academic proficiency and growth. Everybody has heard that I tell people the truth. And then after that, I give them an opportunity to sit with that, right? I want people to feel comfortable engaging in the process and then saying, I don't know if that's for me right now. I've had candidates say, I want to be in a place that's more stable. I don't want to be in a turnaround setting, right?
Right.
See us in a couple years when we are more stable. And I've had folks say, nah, I think I would rise to the occasion. And in that case, we bring them in for a half day interview. There's nobody here who doesn't spend at least a half day with us. And for some higher management, mid management above and above roles, we bring them in for a full day and we run them through the gambit. I'm talking role plays. We have them present their performance task. Instructional leaders have to teach
Yeah.
a lesson. We have a student panel. We have a teacher panel. Kids ask questions. You ask questions of our children. Teachers ask you questions. You can ask questions of our teachers. And then we
Yeah.
close it out with a final interview with members of the leadership team
Oh.
where we're really looking for, do you have a growth mindset? And then we talk about like the day's experience. Could you see yourself here on a day to day with all of the hustle and bustle? And could we see you here adding value to the academic and intellectual outcomes of children here? There are some folks I make an offer to on the spot. Most folks will hear from us within 24 to 48 hours after that.
What's your secret sauce when it comes to closing talent or getting them to sign?
We've got some videos that we send to folks that are living out our core values, right? Videos that really showcase family, videos that really showcase respect and determination and excellence, really what it means to be a Jaguar. And then I have everybody who got to interact with that candidate call and say,
Really?
hey, when are you going to sign that offer letter? What'll
Really?
it take to get you to join the team? And people call and they will report back to me and they'll say, hey, this person is looking for, they don't know a good neighborhood to live in Detroit, right? Because they're coming from out of
Right.
town.
Yeah.
Or this person said they already signed. It's like,
Yeah.
um, or this person really wants to know if they can come back another time, but they didn't want to ask for it anymore. So like everybody converges in a place where we've talked to a candidate, we've said, ask me all the questions. I will tell you the truth. It might be an answer that you don't like, might be an answer that you do like. We will be honest regardless, and we still want you on our team. We've taken very few declines, and most of the declines come from things outside of our control.
Yeah. What's your best advice for a first-time hiring manager?
Easy. Create your bar and then be unapologetic about holding it.
What are your top hiring tips for someone running a turnaround or transformational school?
The first thing that I would say is be ready to be hiring all year.
Okay.
There is no hiring season in turnaround. It's always hiring season. It's a good day to hire any day, every day, including weekends. Like I said before, I've turned over some roles in this school multiple times. And I mean, 2, 3 times I've turned over the same role and have been unapologetic about it. I make mistakes. I've gotten it wrong before, but I won't allow someone to stay here if it's not the right fit for our school. And it's my community. I grew up in Detroit. So these are like these my kids in my neighborhood, in my city. And so it's personal for me, right?
Yeah.
The last thing that is a helpful tip in turnaround specifically, you have to hire for the current state, and you have to hire for your ideal state. You
Hmm.
should have a mix of like folks who are going to help you get through the thick of turnaround. The change in itself is hard, but folks who are going to really, I think I use the language carry flags, who are
Mhm.
going to be you in rooms that you are
Yeah.
not in,
Stu
holding the expectation.
Yeah.
But you also need folks who are going to be exactly what you need when you get to your ideal state. The
Mhm.
folks who are your, I'm not great at words of affirmation. I'm extremely critical as a person of myself, of the work that we do of others. And I think that is a detriment to staff culture. And so I hire people who are really, really good with words of affirmation because when we get to a place where we can call ourselves stable, people are going to need so much affirmation that's something that I know I want to have hired for now and not wait until later. Who can I hire that's going to help me with right now? And who can I hire that's actually going to help me when we stabilize and get to our ideal state? You need both.
Brilliant. Last question. What do you say to someone who thinks it's too challenging to turn over a seat 2 or 3 times, that we should keep who we have and be lucky that they're with us?
That's not at all my mindset. I think it's an interesting line that we walk when we prioritize the grown folks over children. That would never be okay to me. For my own nephew, I imagine that won't be okay to me when I have my own children. And so it's certainly not okay for the children up in this building. What I will do is commit that I'll try to grow you as much as I can. I believe in growth. I believe that you can coach people. I believe that when people want to grow, they will grow. But what I will never accept is if we are not aligned on what is best for children, that we walk in this building every day on time and we work our butts off until the end of the day and we leave everything on the floor, nothing to be desired. We do our best for children, our absolute best, not our some of it, not our okay. We don't do our this is what I can. We do our absolute best every day. If you are not aligned with that, you do not have a place here. It is, I don't care that you dap up Jalen Rose every Wednesday during Forgotten Harvest. I do not care that you were a Michigan fan in the early 90s. I sleep just fine at night knowing that I have made the best decisions on behalf of children here, even if they weren't received well, even if they upset some folks, children,
Yeah.
families, staff, in pursuit of something that I have never experienced myself that I think every child in this building and in the city of Detroit deserves.
In turnaround, what I'm learning, Jasmine, and it's really clear from you too, you have to have incredibly high standards, be unapologetic about those, and let folks who aren't for that leave, and bring in folks who want that with you.
Yeah, 100%. And when you got good people, you gotta keep them too. I do whatever it takes for good people. Like, I will figure something out, anything out. A lot of times it's monetary. Sometimes it is about fringe benefits, right? Like, I figured out how we could have a partnership with a local gym for our staff to work out,
Awesome.
figuring out how we got brand new washers and dryer in case you need it, got a partnership with the realtor. You need to hook up on apartments, you need to hook up on homes. Like, we trying to figure out partnerships left and right because if that's what it takes to keep you and you're good, our kids deserve that. They deserve consistency. They deserve good people. And we want to do whatever it takes to keep folks.
Really good. Wow. Okay. Anything that you want to plug? What if I'm a teacher and I want to come work for you?
Yeah, hit me up at talent at jrladetroit.com. The line is always open. We are fully hired and are not currently hiring for school year 25-26, but
Wow.
we did just acquire a new building and we'll be actually expanding our feeder pattern. So we'll open a middle school in school year 27-28, and we move into a much larger high school for us. And so we will be looking to expand programming, bring on more excellent educators, and hire for our middle school. And so if you're interested, if you're watching this, like everything she said, I can get down with, then
Yeah.
like email me, send me your resume. And even if it's not the right time right now, we'll chat and we'll keep in touch until it is the right time. We want good people and our kids deserve good people.